side of the room.
I think I've got it. Is it still going on? No.
Yeah, I have my thing on mute. That's why you can't hear the echo. It's gonna echo like super loud.
Oh, you know what? I know what's going to help. Give me a second. That should be it.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
So say something real quick. Yo, yo, yo.
Is it good, man? Is it working?
All
Hello?
right, I think we're good, bro. Hey, let's go. Okay, YouTube is up, Twitch is up, Spaces is up. People can hear
Jeez,
us.
man, this is the weirdest 360 connection ever. Why can't you just press one F button? Oh, I can't hear
Bro,
myself.
what happened to your audio, dude? It went back to echoing again.
Oh, Jesus,
Where's
technology.
your phone? How far away is it from you?
It's not that far.
No?
Maybe it should be further away.
Yeah, you may have to move. I usually like literally put the other side of the room.
How about now? Is it good?
Yeah, I think we're good. Fire.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. The
Hey, let's
weird,
go.
weird.
Let's go.
Hey
Here we go.
guys, I was just going to bitch about like apologize for the language. It's only
Oh,
8 o'clock, and quite early. No, the technology. Why can't you just press one button, right? And get it all at once, right? Rather than do those crazy like plug and plays, man.
Well, they're not looking out for us. They're not looking out for us. All right, we'll get started right now. Guys, welcome back to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cage, your guide. We replaced a little voice beside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, smash the like button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, shout out to the Bet Fury fam. If you're in Spaces, if you hit that bottom right icon, if you're excited to get into it, hit that retweet, hit that like, tag people. Let's get people in here. I want people to hear the story. I'm really, really fucking excited to get into it. This podcast is brought to you guys by Bet Fury Gaming, a crypto company looking to bring y'all motherfuckers generational wealth. We are going to be bringing our educational content and podcasts over to their DGen audience. And every 10 minutes you're watching on Twitch, you can earn 100 points for entries to win real cash prizes. Today is we have a guest, Diggy, the founder of HAPE Social, formerly known as HAPE Beast. You guys definitely remember them. The most hype project of literally all time from like the 2021 era. If you guys were like OG, you definitely remember. Easily the most hyped NFT project of all time. It was a wild time to be alive. Nobody knew, up versus down. Nobody knew left is right. HAPE Social is very much alive. We are going to be talking about all the things HAPE, fashion, branding, what he's been up to, what he's looking forward to, his general thoughts on everything in Web3. Dude, welcome to the Joyage Kingdom.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for having me, man. Such a talk. That was an intro, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should be doing like one of those, like the crazy auctions, right? When they spit up the words like 5 seconds per second, right?
No, I tried to. I even applied at a hosting
You're
position
good
like
at
that.
it. You're good at it. You're good at it. It's like like follow, subscribe, man. Maybe you should adjust a little bit to Web3 language, and then just swipe the floor, man. At the end, like go for it. No, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Let's have some fun.
Let's fucking get it, bro. Let's fucking get it. So, guys, if you're excited to get to it, again, smash the likes, do all the things. Let's get people in here. So let's just first start this thing. With like, it's been a little minute since you've done like a sit down style, long format conversation style of content. People are probably dying to know like what you've been up to. Like, what is your daily routine like? Like, what is like a kind of like a day in the life for you currently?
Oh man, being honest, right? I don't do podcasts, right? Too much. I pretty much this is the very first time when I appear on the camera, and talk someone, the historic moment. What I've been up to is I've been busy, man. Busy. That's what it is. Especially like when you have to try to run a project, and be an artist at the same time, right? It's a little bit a different perspective. Well, the day-to-day basis, it's as simple as that, man. Just get up, jump into the bath, power on, right? Power off, and you don't even count the days, in actually like the calendar days. It's just a bright and the dark, right? That's what we say, kind of a joke, but it's not a joke. Why would you do 9 to 5 in Web 2 if you can do 24/7 in Web 3, right? It's so much fun. And that's literally what's happening, right? And now when we've got the diesel collection released, there is a little bit more of a breath, to focus on the existing, the task and basically like, the points from the roadmap, come back, much heavier into the HAPE stuff. But in general, is that plus always a new piece, because all of those conversation takes long. I mean, we're probably gonna get to this, right? But day-to-day basis is literally power on, power off, sometimes I don't even change my PJs, like this is exactly what it is, man.
Dude, do you have any advice for people then? Because there's people still coming out dropping new projects right now. Like, what do you think you'd be looking at? What do you think you'd be focused on if you were dropping the project today land, versus like a year ago?
Oh man, the space has changed, right? Drastically. And we see it by, the demand, we see it by the audience, and we see it by the projects, right? We're not in a bull run anymore. You can't just sell freaking whatever you want. So people are being picky, and they look for something different, right? Like look at it from this angle. Back in the days, you had hundreds projects coming out like daily, weekly, whatever, just because everything was literally copy and paste, right? All of those smart contracts being open source, were just basically being taken from one project, and adapted to another one, right? That's when someone put the joke. It wasn't Praxi, but it was like one of those, like, the big collectioners back in the days who said, like, this is a simple thing, how to get $2 million, right? Just basically pick up on an animal or whatever creature, that hasn't been used previously, release 10K, and then just close the door fucking like five minutes later, right? Voila, job done. And that was what's happening, now, well, the projects are being released, but you don't see the same intensity, right? They completely different, also like what we can say, with release of our project, the bar went higher, right? And people look for much better quality, in the art. You just cannot sell this, the shitty pixels, like anymore. And I'm not talking about like, the crypto pixels like, as a punks. I'm just talking about the clones and the copy of the copy of the copy, right? So people put so much more attention, right? We as a team, right, and me especially as the founder, right? I went like full docs straight away, right? This is who I am. Check out all of my links, and
Mm.
um, this is also approach, right? People start checking out, like, who's behind the projects, but the creators, they just they disappeared, right? Where are all of those major creators being that shouty, like, from back in the days? The space is changing, the space evolving. Also, like, the world of NFT evolves, right? Obviously the PFP collectible scenes is always going to be strong, right? But the whole space moves in a completely different direction, right? What we're going to see around the 2023 and beyond, in my opinion, obviously, like, the digital is a thing, and it's going to be a thing for the next year, but it will slow down because it will become very natural, right? Everything will be digital. You won't be putting it as your point of sale anymore. Gamification, obviously, like, it's all about the gamification, but it didn't come from the Web3 space, right? Even like, back in the days, doing like, the simple applications, for whatever you might think about fitness, like fun trainings, just doing a cooking, right? You are having your AI assistant, right? Back in the days, it was just an algorithm, that was basically learning on your behaviors, and serving you the stuff that you might be interested about. Now the AI comes to action. Dude, like, look at the space in these days, right? We've got the powerful tools, right? The AI actually starts to be the AI that we wanted, right? Up to the point where people go like, shit, that's scary, we're going to lose the job, well, there are different views about it, but look at that. There's an AI, right? You've got the blockchain, right? Which is powerful. That the whole of the Web3 is not the technology, it's the culture built, on the blockchain, right? And suddenly, especially like the stuff that we're doing, which is a digital fashion, something that can live on its own and then just breathe its own air, get this massive accelerator, right? It's like incubator for startups once again, but unfortunately, right, it's just the time that it's happening, right? It's the whole crypto winter bear market, which, for us, for creators, is good. I strongly believe, like, within the next bull run, digital fashion will be flying all over, but it's not going to be a digital fashion as you guys knew it. It will be much more of the place where the whole fashion and the world is moving on, right? The co-creation, right? Not DAO, but making stuff with people, giving them some sort of, like, the voice on, potentially maybe bringing them to the project to be a part of it, right? Because if you're a part of it, you've also got a different attachment. I mean, like, yeah, it's interesting. Let's see where everything is going, man.
Have you been paying attention to any of the other projects in that world, or have you just been focused on HAPE?
Well, so obviously, right, since HAPE started, I've lost a lot of focus. I know the projects are flying around, but it's not me being so-called a collector, investor, or whatever, like back in the days. Because you have to look at it from this angle, right? I've entered the space as an artist, right? And I try to build a position as an artist. And from that, I also started collecting stuff, because this is the whole DNA, and the basement, the fundamentals of the Web3 space. Artist for an artist, right? Someone gave us a space, to be as valuable, as an artist you can see in just like the art galleries, right? All around the world. And like basically back in the days, the very early days, when even Ethereum cost shit, right? Completely like nothing compared to where it is now. People were spending a lot, but the space was working in a very simple way, right? I'm being an artist. I've just sold my work. I'm taking my Ethereum and I spend it on the other people's work, right? And the space was growing in between those, like supporting themselves, right? Constantly. If you're being an artist that never made any sale, or any kind of, like, the marketplace, it doesn't matter if you're being like, PFP or a foundation, super rare one-on-ones, whatever, right? I mean, like, if you're super rare, I imagine like you made some sales, but this kind of situation, right? People were just like, flying all over, right? Supporting an artist. Big whales back in the days were doing, like, obviously, like, there is a bit of a clickbait, and the fishing around, like, hey man, share your artwork, and I'm going to buy this, obviously, like, that's how they were grabbing, like, they likes, follows, and attention. But it was working, right? They were changing the people's life, and this is what's actually missing in the space right now. You don't hear that much about those life-changing moments, right? We clearly realize that WAGMI is bullshit, right? Let's call it like that. It's literally like, when you're being the space from, the collector, the other side point of view, like, it's all whack me, right? The community, we're gonna make it, right? Yeah, and it's fucking great. I support it, right? But on the other hand, when you actually make a project, right? I had my friends literally warning me about this. Dude, it's going to be all about that, man. They're gonna sit on you. You will be haters, why floor so low, like whatever. And yeah, I was aware about, like, this kind of a community aspect. I thought, like, we can actually do something about it. I wasn't actually expecting, such a massive and coordinated fight, from the side of the other founders, and other collections, in the space, when you basically, like, your pinned post on your Twitter say whack me, and you just get your likes on shitting all around, the other people, right? This is not it. This is not how it's supposed to be. I'm not even talking about my project. This is the whole of the Web3, the whack me. We are going to make it. It doesn't come from nowhere. It's just because you know you had your web versions, right? So .com, it was all about you, right? You could get to the website, check whatever is on it, right? When it went to a web 2, it was more about, hey, we're connected, right? You had your Twitter, MySpace, right? People like start to interacting. It's not just about like bloody IRC, right? The chats, and something like, the communicators. People actually got connected, and suddenly, like, stupid things, that you wouldn't know about, that happened, somewhere else in the other part of the world, that maybe because, well, maybe you would know about because they landed on one of those bullshit shows, right? Where people send the VHS tapes, with the recorders, like when something funny happens, right? And that's how it was happening before, right? Now in the age of the YouTube, the TikTok, and all of the mass media, like, just know everything everywhere, right? Stuff goes viral very, very quickly. So, yeah, just like the space. Sorry, man. I've even lost my thought. Definitely talking too much.
No, it's perfect, bro. This is literally your podcast. I love you. I just like hearing your opinion, your perspective on things. It's a very different perspective when you came from the 2021 era versus people who came in now. There's people who dropping projects who literally weren't here when you guys were around. It's some pretty crazy shit. Can you talk about some like what are some of the biggest obstacles, I guess, that you faced? And then maybe like along that same thought, were there any obstacles that you thought would be hard that were pretty easy?
I mean, there are so many obstacles, right? Because the way the whole space operates, right? You try to run your brand, project, the company, call it whatever you want, right?
Mhm.
And we know it all kind of it all sits around those kind of like the startup territories, right? But you also don't run it as, the traditional way of the company, right? You don't have, like the company and your traditional customer, right? In the
Mhm.
Web3, the whole situation, is being shifted, right? Where you've got your holders, your community, and suddenly those people, they've got first-hand access to the creators, founders, right? And everyone on the team, right? Very clearly expressing their thoughts, and expectations, And speaking of the expectations, right? This is like, yeah, I know how it goes. Like, the NFT space is very similar to the world of gaming, as I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
You get your vanilla game being released on the Friday afternoon, right? It's freaking a hot topic, right? So obviously, right, you want to grind for it. You finish it by the Sunday evening, and on Monday morning you go like, "Where's my DLC?" Right? I've already finished your vanilla. Give me more content, right? I don't give a damn about your, like, the end game. I just want the new stuff, and like, this is what I've learned, right? People have incredible demand and sometimes very unrealistic expectations, right? Space itself is very impatient
Yeah.
because everything has to happen now and for tomorrow. And even like, speaking from this, the computer game, like, the video game developer point of view, right? Even if devs listen to you, right? If they want to adapt the changes, right? And make them live, it's going to take them at least like 3 or 6 months, depends on the complexity of the code adapting to it, right? You see, we entered the space in the bull run, when the stuff was happening like extremely quickly, and this is something that I didn't foresee in myself. Like, like it wasn't the case. When I started the project, it was just about the fun, right? Let's do a PFP project, and then do stuff around like customization, identification, right? Or let's do a digital, like, the lifestyle brand, for your character, that was the whole general kind of an idea. But since the time when, obviously, like the trailer came out and we minted, up to reveal, the space changed so drastically, with my head being completely like, dived into the project, and working on, the delivering, you know uh, I didn't even notice like what happened all around, right? So suddenly, right, you find yourself, damn, right? It's not about us, guys. We want to have fun, and we invite you, to for a journey with us. We're gonna give you the filters and this and that and that. Like, no, scrap that, right? The utility projects. That's what it is right now, right? So as the space evolves, and it was evolving much quicker previously, right? We also had to adapt to this space, and we've got, the stuff that, it's aligned on the roadmap and we're building towards too, besides of delivering on the marketplace, it's probably not a secret, to say that we're moving heavily towards the staking, and this number one priority for the next few weeks, to put on the table. But yay. I've lost my thing again. I've got too much thoughts flying
No, I
around
think you
my
actually
head,
got.
man.
No, I think you actually got
Sorry.
your point. You actually got your point exactly, I think. And also, I was gonna even add to that with, like, just now, I just saw the Starbucks mint went through, and man, there was some fun because the website was crashing and like nobody got to mint, and it was just like chaos, dude. In the
Oh, we
Discord.
never fucked up on that, man. Like, this is a thing. Like, when it comes to the meat release and everything reveals, like, it went all very smoothly, so far, right? Yeah, I've seen around of that, a lot of that around, and those kind of fuck ups are still happening. I literally, I was one of the victims, of one of those, like, the smart codes, that didn't go very well myself, but
Mm.
not that long ago. Hopefully, like, happily that, ended up good for me, but dude, that was a bit of a scary moment, to be honest.
Well, I bet. And you were right. Also, the last thing you said right before I start jumping in was about the utility projects they are in, dude. Like, and at least for me, like the people who watch my show, I mean, you guys know, if you guys watch my channel, you guys know I talk about this all the time because it's like one of my unique qualities as an NFT YouTuber is my audience is much older than every other NFT YouTuber. Like, my audience is literally all older than me. There's like a small percentage of people who are younger. Almost everyone is either
That's
my age or
good.
older. And
That's good, bro.
yeah,
How
that's
old are
great.
how
I
old are you, if
love
you don't
it.
mind me asking?
Huh?
How old are you, if you don't mind? If you
24.
don't mind? Yeah, that's a beautiful age, man.
I love it, and it's because I think I talk about more like aged up content, and I like talking about the companies that are out here. Like when Amazon came in, I was stoked to make that TikTok. I just posted one earlier today. I even did a
Bro,
little deep dive
that's
into it.
huge.
Dude, big companies are in.
Amazon getting in, like,
Oh, and I'm trying to
oh
get UFC in. I'm trying to get Gymshark in. I'm trying to get these big companies because I'm like, okay, obviously that's an
man,
opportunity, but also like those are the companies that actually can make something more legit. And now we can have real
man.
conversations about NFTs that aren't fucking monkey JPEGs or Rhino JPEGs or like crypto dick butt
Oh,
JPEGs, like because it's
dude,
so hard to
no,
break through that
this is this
to the
is
mass
this is
adoption level.
great. This is great. Like, look at that. Like, re-edit, right? The first guys. You've got a bunch of people like sitting there every day, literally shitting on PFPs, like what we try to build, and the project. And then suddenly, voila, right? You do this web 2.5 approach, right? Take a step back, take all of this, like, the gimmicky language, out of it, right?
Yeah.
Create the people's wallet in the background without them knowing it, call it a digital collectible. And suddenly, like, whoop, you flip the coin, right? So now, right? Um, do you have a numbers? How many users Amazon have? Like,
Oh my god, I have no idea.
okay,
Someone look that up for us. It's a
right,
huge number.
right. So look at. I've got a better one, right? This is a kind of, obviously we know the Big Apple, right? The
Mm.
brand with the Big Apple, and they've proven that whatever you do, you don't have to be first to pioneer and take over the market, right? With the products, like, you basically stay a little bit on the side, right? You observe your competition, right? You take your learnings, take bad apples out of the basket, right? And then you come back. I believe with, the new AR glasses, and the involvement into this kind of a technology in the space, you might be seeing, like, the Apple new whatever blockchain thing. So imagine that, right? How many people worldwide actually own an iPhone? How many of those people, create their own, like, the digital character, in an iPhone, right? Literally that, right?
Mm.
So this automatically becoming your whatever, if you can onboard every single person,
Yep.
without them being even aware about being a Web3 customer, this is such a huge win. But when you talk about the Apple, right, it's going to be the completely different rules. When they do it, in my beliefs, they're gonna have their own blockchain. They're gonna have an Apple coin. They're
Yep.
gonna do it in, like, whatever. They're gonna have a super sexy hype store. And they're gonna charge you 30% up to 50 or whatever you get out of it, right? But people gonna go for it anyway, because that's where the traffic's gonna go. Forget about the OpenSea, whatever. Apple Store,
Mm.
yes. New Apple coin, yes. Like, yeah, you know how it works,
Dude,
right?
exactly that. I see Fixer in here saying, "Oh, hold on." Renoli says there's a massive echo from you on Twitter. How close is your phone to you right now?
Maybe it's not that far
Yeah,
away.
maybe. Oh yeah, if it's right there, I would double the distance, bro. If it's like 10 feet away, I'd move it to the other side
Give
of the
me a
room.
second.
It's so annoying, but it's yeah. 1 sec, fam. Hey, Renoli, thank you for shouting us out there. Oh, it's because he's okay. Hold on. Will you mute yourself, Diggy? It's because you weren't muted. That was it. The main thing. You weren't muted on Spaces. Could you go up? Could you mute your mic on Spaces? Because it's already streaming my audio through both of our audios through one. There we go. There we go. All right. Fire. Sweet.
You see, that would be just so much easier, bro. Like literally.
Holy shit, that sounds so much better. Wow. Oh my God, I'm shocked at how much better that is.
I mean, dude, you see, you learn something new every time. So the next time when you get your guest, just tell them to mute your mic on the Spaces.
I normally do. I thought it was. I thought you were muted at the beginning. I just didn't double check it. But okay, we're getting a bunch of W's in the fucking chat in Space right now. So hell yeah. Okay, well that's
man,
great.
You see, that's a shame. You know, I could actually like see who's on the Spaces. You know, and shout out to my monkeys. You know, this is. Shout out to my monkeys on the Spaces, guys. Sorry, I don't see the phone because he just told me to throw it away. Like,
well, okay. So just going back to it, Amazon has 200+ million Prime subscribers. That is nuts, dude. And like they all use it is the thing, and all they have to do, all Amazon has to do is say, "Yo,
so what blockchain are we gonna be on?"
Little Web3 initiative, bro. W's, just small little things that they're already gonna get. You might as well get this extra thing.
Oh yeah, Fixter, my man.
Huh?
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, sorry, man. I just started to like notice the chat actually flying around.
Yeah, man, 100%. Yeah, there's over 300 million active users just on the actual marketplace alone. So that's the cool part is like they don't need to be like Web3. You know, it's just like they're just gonna add these things in as an initiative, very much like Starbucks is doing with the rewards program, saying, "Yo, you want to collect these digital stamps? It gives you access to this." A lot of people who are in the beta just were able to mint. Not me, because I just took an L. It just didn't work for me, but that's just kind of how it is.
Do you, I mean, like, you know, this sounds as effing exciting as scary. You know, imagine about all of those, like, you know, the Indian call centers pretending to be Amazon, Microsoft, whatever, you know, and then just like draining on the gift cards, right? You know, and converting to crypto. Now they got a fucking first-hand access, right? Can you share the seed phrase to your wallet, ma'am?
Oh Jesus!
I mean, you know, this is so dodgy. Like, you know, actually, like when you give them a call back, right? You know, there's got like, you know, the call center, you know, recording, and then you've got the two options, right? The one that says like, if you are over 65, press 1. If you are under 65, press 2. So if you press 2, you never get to the call, man. Like, this is how it works, man. You know, yeah. Well, you know, it sounds as exciting as scary, to be honest, but let's see where it goes.
Dude, what are you looking forward? And also, do you even subscribe to the idea of a metaverse?
Right. You know what? Right, I've got a very strict idea about the metaverse, right? You know, and I know it's exciting, you know, as it is right now. But you know, it's going to take years, you know, before we get, you know, into the points where people would like it to be, and you know, where we get into the points where, you know, it actually like it flies around, right? You know, it's gonna be something completely different. So, right, you know what? Yes, I do have a views, right? In the way, like, you know, millions of dollars were just basically sunk, you know, by the VCs in some fucking like the virtual worlds, right? You know, where they basically look like, you know, GTA 2 in these days, you know, some dodgy computer games, you know, and they all need to run in the web browser, right? You know, it's going to take a time to develop it, right? You know, it's good to be early and position yourself, obviously, right? You know, but people will want more and more and more. You know, when you look at the whole idea of metaverse itself, right? You know, that's the place that brings everything together, you know, like, you know, and, you know, as I said, like people have this like Ready Player One imagination, right? You know, when you have your racing cars, you know, and then the Donkey Kong flying around, the Pac-Man, you know, you've got the Disney characters and shit, right? You know, it's a beautiful vision, right? You know, it's as beautiful, it's such a nice dream as us having 100% whitelist meta, right? This is like literally it is what it is. No, because like look at it from like being realistic, right? You know, in none of the ways, like, you know, the Google Microsoft, Apple, and all of those giants, they're gonna come together, right, to build it, and
Mm.
as like, in how we've got this kind of like now, well, do we still have this metaverse race anymore? You don't see about any more developments about the other deeds, right? So
Mm.
you know yeah, I personally compared this, the metaverse, kind of like what's happening right in these days, to a very early VR era, literally to the very first headsets, right? Think about like, late 90s, early 2000s, right? It was there, it was working, it was exciting, but technology wasn't there enough. There yet, right? It took another 10 years, for a
Mm.
for a Rift, to come out, right? And revolutionize, right? Even if it was still like heavy and blocky, it was a breakthrough, right? And it was much more accessible for everyone, right? And
Yeah.
from then, technology just literally like accelerated, like up and up and up, right? Same with the AIs or something, like like now Chat GPT, right? 2 years ago, it was just like doing like, hey, how you doing? I can imagine, right? But now it's just like, it is what it is, right? It learned, right? Technology is much more advanced. But coming to the metaverse, um, like, you don't need this virtual world, to run actual the metaverse, and this was Twitter is the best example, right? As one place, especially like the crypto Twitter, is the place where all of those communities, can actually come together. It doesn't matter if you're a monkey, or a penguin, or like whatever, right? Else, right?
Yeah.
You've got the one space where you guys interact, right? You can do something, you can make your friendships, you can make your enemies, whatever, you follow people, right? This is the real network, right? And the chain, right? Without the bigger picture. And speaking of the metaverse, right? We're all saying like, I don't want to build metaverse. I believe in, the metaverse, the fashionverse, right? I call it like that because we are digital fashion based project, but the metaverse is much more of kind of like the co-creation, crossbreed, right? I do something for your world, you do something for my world, right? So our communities can basically like exchange the assets, right? And do something together. And think about like, I might be saying something controversial now, but I've watched the video, which was probably fake. I mean, like fucking most definitely it was a fake, but obviously, but I like the vision, right? Back from the very early days when you had the Microsoft HoloLens, right? And the whole of like, yeah, the AR glasses, but the vision was basically like, how can we help humanity, right? So they were showing you doctors, for example, right? With those kind of like, the proper like the scans, the DNA flying around, the vision from the sci-fi movies, right? But we're not that far away from this, to be honest, right? What we've seen, like, in the back in the days in the old sci-fi movies, it's already a story, right?
And that's what
So
this guy's saying right here.
yeah,
Norrell's saying the same thing. He says,
yeah,
"Don't you think we live in a kind of an early version of the metaverse?"
exactly. So look at it from this angle, right? We're gonna go to metaverse, which is a cross connection between both digital and the real. It's not about you logging yourself into the VR and going into the metaverse. It's about you having the metaverse all around you, right? So, like the meta itself, right? I don't think many people actually like, Zuckerberg, right? And what he does, obviously like Facebook is Facebook, right? Maybe my mom is still using it, maybe not. I don't even know. But their vision of metaverse, they just sank drastically, right? They burn so much money, right?
Yeah.
So much freaking money on it, right? It's unbelievable, right? But they just started from the wrong angle, right? Quite recently, I saw one of those videos when they present the vision of the metaverse as like, one of the cross connections between the worlds, right? And imagine yourself, you've got a bunch of the firefighters, right? Get into the building on flames, right? They show you like, okay, you've got potentially like two people in the room over there, right? You can go safely upstairs, right? And this part is on, you know, somewhere where you should be going, right? With the implementation of like, the whole of the AI, open AI, chat GPT, whatever, this connected with another AI that generates the voice, of something, we'll be having our own Jarvis very soon, right? You'll be, you
Ooh.
know dude, I mean, very soon. I mean, like very soon, I say, it's going to take years, but it's not going to take that much time, right, to develop it, right? And think about the technology, from this angle, right? When you look at the AR glasses, right? Obviously, they need to be a little bit lighter, they cannot be overheating your brain, but as soon as you've got a connection to the internet, and the stuff has to flowing, right? Think about deaf people, for example, right? Looking at someone, through the glasses and having like, the proper transcript displayed, just based on the lip sync, right? This stuff is now. Like, we don't talk about the future. It's literally now. So what the future is going to bring, this is a funny stuff. Like, people go, oh yeah, the artists, like the AI is going to take our work and shit. Obviously it's stealing as fuck, man. Like, this is like, no doubt, right? You generate something and you've got like signature of the other artist, right? It's been learned or something, right? But you cannot go against it. You have to start using the technology and adapt to it, right? To be ahead of the game and be on top. So you see, this is a funny thing when I said, now it's cool, it's easy, right? When the chat GPT is going to generate, its own, like, the prompts for a Mid Journey, for example, to do the images, right? And the AI talks to the AI. Then we go Skynet, right? This is a kind of a story. But when you go chat GPT and start asking to generating the prompts, right, for certain kind of the topics that you go into, translate into Mid Journey, because that's what I tried. I just basically went chat GPT, give me topics for this, right? Generate something. And I put it into Mid Journey. It wasn't as good as a human being. Like, it's not that brain. It's the operator, right? It's, oh man, I actually learned how to use, all of those, like, the AI tools, just to help me to develop my work. And it's brilliant, right? Obviously, right, I would never say, this is my work. When you generate something from Mid Journey, it's never your work. And even accordingly to the law, I truly believe, like, it's still a point, right? Whenever it's a work 100% generated by a machine without your input, you've got no copyrights to it. And even in Midjourney, right? When you generate those images, based on an artist, whatever, they've got those special watermark in bit, so whenever Midjourney scans the internet over again, right, it's going to skip on those images, just to avoid the work generated by the work. It's clever. It's clever, man.
Dude, 100%, 100%. Also, I think it might be the perfect time to start thinking about this fucking giveaway, because I see people in this space. I see people on YouTube. I see people on Twitch. I think this is the move, guys.
You know what? I'm hold on. Let me hijack it. I'm gonna spice it up. I like being here, right? I don't know what my marketing is going to say about it, but let's just double. I'm gonna give away 2 HAPEs. Right?
Oh shit!
Let's do it.
Hold on. Let me hit a button real quick. Is it this one? Oh yeah! All right, guys.
Yeah, just because Snapchat took the best fan out of this call, and they
did, bro.
How dare they? Like, literally, like, it should be a big monkey face flying around the screen, but it's not working.
It's true.
Let's just play it this way. Ape for an ape.
Oh shit! All right, guys, listen. If you're trying to win, you have 2 chances to win 2 HAPE NFTs. I'm gonna give away an Izu NFT. Here's what you need to do. If you're watching us on Twitch, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Spaces, LinkedIn, I don't care where you're at. Screenshot where you're at. I want you to post it on all your whatever platform you're on. Post it. You probably go to Twitter, honestly, because that's like the easiest way we'll see it. If you're retweet, we want to see retweets in the space. Obviously, you have to be following us, because if you win, then we got to DM you, and if we can't DM you because of that, so make sure you're following us. Go ahead and retweet the space, tag a few friends, and then the main thing: screenshot the space, screenshot the video, wherever you're at. Post that shit and tag us. I'm going to be scrolling on the timeline through my notifications. The more I see your fucking name, the higher chance you have of me clicking your name, because I'm just going to be scrolling and my finger's just going to land on something. All right. That's the way it works. You guys have about 10 minutes or so. We're going to continue the conversation. The next time we kind of like come to another stopping point, we are going to choose the winner. Again, you can enter as many times as you want. We want to see HAPE Beast, or we want to see HAPE Social. We want to see our fucking beautiful faces, our glasses, all over Twitter's timeline, guys. Blow this shit up. You have 3 chances to win 3 NFTs. So I'm pumped, dude. Thank you for the extra HAPE. That's fucking W's right there.
I mean, I didn't I didn't think it's true. I should put probably a question for it and make it like, some sort of like the competition, man,
Oh,
but yeah, maybe that's the thing for the people who are on the stream, man. Just imagine stuff like that, right? You see those like the blurred shapes behind me,
mhm.
right? If you tell me what character, it is this, what the shape, who the shapes belong to, the black one. Maybe there's something extra, for a
Yeah.
winner, to the HAPE. We've got those badges and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I
spice it
see
up.
people getting pumped in the chat
And
right now.
and an extra question for a winner. If they manage to identify it, then
Oh, damn, guys, make sure you're paying attention. If you're paying attention, that's the way you can win, guys. You got to be paying attention. Make sure tag your friends, tag us, make posts, retweets, let people know. Again, the more you're on the timeline with our faces or our tags and stuff, the higher likelihood I'm gonna click on your name by complete. Again, it's gonna be a complete chance. I'm gonna use my finger. I'm just gonna be scrolling, not even gonna be looking. It's gonna be all about how many entries we get. So let's blow this shit up. But while we're doing that, while people are going crazy, we'll keep them entertained at the same time. We're gonna keep them entertained at the same time. How do you think HAPE as a brand has changed in the past year? And then, like, what would you say is like kind of the glue that holds you guys together?
the brand, man, we grown up a lot, right? This is the whole ideology, right? Whenever you do something, right, set the bar like extremely high, right? Dream big, work hard. If it doesn't work, and you fall down, right, then basically like, it has to hurt, right? So you remember, on your mistakes, when you get up, shake it up, and move over. um, the whole of the clash, right? The whatever happened after reveal, it definitely changed our mindsets, right? In the way like, we look at the spaces, right? They are different beliefs, but they don't change our plan of action, and the way what we're doing, right? um, we don't deliver on expectations, we deliver on the promises.
Mm.
This is what I think, right? And obviously, like, when we were releasing, right, there was no need, right, to put the solid like the roadmap on the table, like just to pop it up. They're gonna do this, the AO or something, like, the hype was so strong. The hype was so strong itself that we strongly believe, right, that can be released later on, just to fulfill the whole vision, you know. Um, Obviously it flipped the coin slightly different, but we've got it, and we move towards our goals, right? What we did previously, and that was like one of the mistakes, not being afraid to talk about, right? We were trying to deliver to the big expectations, which means basically like trying to run too many strings of work at the same time, right? They go in, they flow in, but they not being completed, as soon as you want it to be, right? And this is the approach that we changed, and so far it works well, as basically go like one at a time, right? So from yeah, it's just a waterfall. Do one, tick it off, get to another, get it done, go to another, get it done, and we're moving on. I mean, there are very exciting things, coming for HAPE, that I'm under NDA myself, I cannot talk about, but we will be able to announce something very, very shortly. So,
Ooh. Oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Fucking like, man, as I said, you know, um, we're all of the creators in the space, right? Like literally, yeah, they're still there. People are coming, the projects, but many of them they just vanished, right? This is a funny thing. Before we released our project, there were already clones of our project selling out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that, man? Like, the funny stuff, and this is like things we said. Like I never realized, how much we're being hurt, because you actually like to the owners of the other projects, and dude, like people like they tell the same story, and I go like, man, it's literally what we said in January 2022. Like, it's I understand your point of view. It's
Mhm.
exactly what we said, right? Same thing, like, from conversations you go to the NFT conferences, and this is like one of the biggest mistakes when they said, like, the digital fashion people along the digital fashion people on the panel, because there are so many similar views right now, right? We need to shift a little bit to find something new. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there are ideas coming out and cooking on, obviously, right? Besides of the hype, right? I want DIGIMENTAL studio, right? To be much more established in the world of digital fashion itself, and then keep delivering, for a hype, which is the flagship project itself. But yeah, there are exciting news coming for a hype very, very soon.
Dude, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped about that. And I saw a great question here from, it was like a couple seconds. Let me scroll up. A lot of people in the chat right now. Appreciate all y'all. Also, I mean, what other podcast can you just go in and just win fucking money and win NFTs? Like, this is crazy. If you're in BetFury's Twitch, you're literally earning points just by sitting in here. Like, that's literally it. You can work. You can win up to like $500 cash prizes. If you're in the space, if you're participating at least in the Twitter Space giveaways. By the way, make sure you're following us. If we choose you and you're not following, guys, that happened last podcast. Somebody won, and I looked at their page and they weren't following me, couldn't DM them, had to pick another winner. They DM'd me after the show. Was like, oh my God, I missed it. And I was like, listen, you snooze, you lose, bro. But anyways, here's the question from Nori. If you had to change one thing about the journey you had this year or this past, like since it started, what would that be, if anything?
Oh man, what would I change? I could change a lot, right? Looking it back, we're always smarter, when we know what happened, right? Looking back, I could change a lot, and play completely different, right? But it's not Back to the Future, and we don't have the magic book, with all of the scores. What could I change? Say, can you repeat this question again? Sorry.
Yeah, if there's anything you would change about your journey in the past, like since the project kind of started, would you change anything? And let's just even make it more spicy. Say you had no choice. God comes down and says, "Motherfucker, you better change one thing right now. You guys got to pick one thing. What would it be?"
Can you make the floor price 100?
Oh, shit, that really is it, bro.
I mean, like, what the community wants, right?
Bro,
Just give them what they want. Oh Lord, make it
God.
100 out of nothing. No,
Oh my God.
man, yeah. No, I could. This is what I've lost this thought. I could change a lot, right? But it's just like the flipping NFTs, right? Basically, when you've got something, right? And you want to flip, then flip and don't go back. Don't be like this guy who checked the number and realized that was the one that was worth $1 million, right?
Mhm,
And suffer after this, right?
mhm,
If you being grown up, right, to get in the space, right, and play with the money, right, then basically, like, do that, and this is my thinking, right. I could change a lot of things, right, but it's not about what I could do, it's about what we're going to do,
mhm,
and how we're going to change the things, right, and how the project is going to develop in the future, so
mhm.
I mean, I'm not looking backwards, right? Obviously there are some of the ideas, and with the changes there will be changes coming, right?
Mhm.
To the whole of the structure project and everything. But yeah,
Sure.
I'm not looking back, right? I don't regret everything. We learn on the mistakes, right? We move on and try to basically be better.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I love that. There's an interesting question here. I didn't know about this before. Like, I don't know if you guys had this before. Did you guys have any kind of staking? I see. Was it Fixter in here says something about. If you could elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, everyone want to know about it. Everyone know about it. So yeah, I mean, this is something that I actually like. I spoiled a little bit of a alpha on our like the tier 3 holders. AMA we were hosting recently. The staking is my number one priority for HAPEs, right?
Okay.
And as we call staking, I know people have lots of expectations, right? But we call it. There are two ways, right? You've got the staking, you've got the yield, right? And both of them they've been very much connected together, but they're gonna have to go on the levels. Staking as non-monetary, show your loyalty, and then the rarity score, as generating the yield, so basically like, they all in one basket, but they're gonna come probably with two levels, and we're gonna start introducing them very, very soon, because this is the whole of an idea of the marketplace, right? Our business model is built on that, right? So having both of those things, as well as staking as well as yield, is the crucial for us, but you are pushing me into the territory where I cannot talk too much about yet, because it's the podcast.
True.
Let's talk about it in the next days, weeks. I think 2 weeks.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, right on. Well, I mean, we can always schedule a second one if you want to do some kind of like structure where you explain
The
stuff.
community, guys, right? It's coming. It's coming. It's definitely coming, and
Yeah.
we've got it under control.
Right on.
It's a super important for me to deliver.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. People are excited about the answer. They're not, I guess they're chilling. They're chilling with the answer. I see a lot of positivity in here. Guys, if y'all want Diggy and Cade round 2 soon, then like fucking retweet this space, Oh shit, game 2584 just redeemed a $250 prize. Congratulations to you. That's a huge W. Okay, here's a couple questions that are a little bit more or less on HAPE and more, I guess, directed at you, because I don't even know if most people would know this, but like, bro, you're like an artist. Like that's like the big thing, Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this is the thing, right? I'm not a founder as like, the founder, who basically had an idea, approach VCs, to get the money, for the role, and then just hire the people to make the shit going.
Mhm.
Yes, I am a digital artist, right? So this is my bread and butter and DNA. I started to make, well, maybe you can so call the name exposure for myself back in 2008 and 10, when we had there wasn't a blockchain and NFTs back in the days, right? We had the DeviantArt, we had the Behance, being a featured on the Behance, it was fucking like one of the biggest life achievements, back in the days, getting publications, along Photoshop Creative, Advanced Photoshop, like, the Photoshop, the Creative Review, all of those, like, the nice magazines, right? That was my thing, I was doing a digital art, and I was also writing in articles how to make this digital art, like through the tutorials. Um, and yeah, basically, like, I come out from the era same as, Boss Logic. You've got the Bill Ellis, Rick Ostenborg, right? Mike Campau, like the big NFT artists, right? And many others, right? Uh, being active in the space, right? Obviously, like, we are a little bit a different breed, right? So, for these guys, right, who actually remain very active on the socials, right? It played extremely well, when it came to the NFT, and the launch the NFT career, because you know how it goes, right? Whoever was investing on any kind of a website, foundation, super rare, OpenSea, whatever, right? They were mainly looking about the number of likes you've got, on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever, right? And these guys were they basically, like, they follow their own paths, they remain very active on socials, they were consistent, which is extremely important in whatever you do, like, especially like the social audience. If you want to build it, you have to be consistent, you know it well yourself. And they had it, right? So their career, like, skyrocket, in NFT space, like, massively, and fucking I admire that. I admire that, obviously, like, some of them, right, they've got different views because spaces change, and from dude, I love it, they went to, like, this is toxic as fuck, right? I need a break, man. I just can't do it anymore. But yeah, I went completely different way. I started my commercial, so-called, the advertising journey. So I spent, like, pretty much, for 12 years, doing top advertising agencies, and quality production house. Speaking of, like, the Oscar winning, like, the production house for the VFX, and this kind of work, but besides of being a passionate, right? And then suddenly, like, I've lost it. I stopped posting on, like, on the socials. Instagram was just, one big spider web. My Twitter had 15 followers, right? When someone told me like everything happens on a Twitter and the whole crypto Twitter actually is there, I was like, dude, I'm naked. When I entered the space, I was like, it was even before people, and I said like, this is all gone. It's like it's done. What am I doing here, right? And I entered the space, as an artist from a completely different angle, right? Many of my colleagues, they thought because we've got the skills, and the massive careers and the big brands behind, we're just gonna come in and then, take it fucking over, right? And many of them actually like, had a very hard landing, right? Just to see this, it doesn't work like this, it's not about your fucking skill, it's about your personality, it's about who you are, your community, right? Who's been around you, and my story started exactly like that, right? At some point, I went through my first crypto crash, right? When I broke my first piggy bank, to buy some Ethereum, right? To be in the space. I went through my first crypto crash, and I was like, fuck, like. I mean, if it's all gone, then at least I'm gonna get myself a monkey, right? So I bought my first bored ape, back in the days, and I remember like it was like literally like it was after having a dream of buying it, and I said like I posted on Twitter when I said like this is the first day of the rest of my life, and like from now on, I remember someone replied and said like, dude, your future self is going to thank you for that, man. And then what I did, I broke another piggy bank, and start touching on the money that I actually they were saved on a mortgage, that I never took.
Yeah.
Paying him a fat, like the fat moves, but like I I was so involved into the space, the community, and being a part and shit like that. I remember when my friends were doing like saying like the obviously like we know there was a very aggressive strategy, right, based on the celebrities and stuff like that. Everything
Yep.
was pumping, and flow was jumping up very quickly. My friends were saying like, "Oh, it's already 7. You have to sell it. You have to sell it." I was like, dude, just let me hodl, right? Like I'm not
Oh,
I'm not. Let me just hodl, and it played well, the long term. Obviously, like I unfortunately I had to burn like some of the good drops, like my serums and stuff like that, because like running the project, from your own funds, especially when you leave like your main source of income and you
yeah.
don't have any invoices and the cash flow flowing, for a few months, right? It's expensive in London.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it, but I had to sell some of those tokens, just to have the money, right? For all the bullshit that we had to pay, like to run the project, because
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, right? We wanted to play as a big boys, right? I was the only one director of the company because the studio has been founded, like a decade ago, literally, but it was like one man army. For a long time, and I was like, yeah, we have to play big boys, do completely legal, right? Let's just make sure, like, we don't fall into those bloody regulation without no regulation, which is
Um,
completely like, oh, it's such a shamble, man, place where we live. But maybe let's not talk about it. Um, so yeah, like entering the space, like having this ape, for me it was natural to start evolving, right? And I was looking for the ways to bring it into a 3D, as like the natural way, right? Doing explorations, and then I found House of Kiba, basically, like and they helped me with the adaptation, which is fucking like great. It started from me helping the community, right? For nothing. Literally, like, sacrificing, my evenings and even taking the days off at work just to do a free NFTs, Um, and the way I was doing it, right? Literally, like, for the community, I was saying, like, yeah, I mean, like, if you appreciate it, then just send me like some low bananas, right? Whatever you have to pay for a meal, but it's not obligatory. Like, maybe at least you can give me a cashback for a gas, because gas was fucking expensive back in the days. Like, you might imagine or not, the guy who bought my Genesis piece, right? bless him, Rumi, big shout out. Um, when I was minting my Genesis piece, right, it cost $600 to mint it and another $600 to fucking list it on the foundation because gas was so bloody expensive. Obviously, like you had the ways, like you to do it, like 3 a.m. in the morning or something. But I was like, no, fuck it, let's go, right?
Jesus
Yeah, man,
Christ. six
yeah,
hundred dollars, bro.
dude. They were like, yeah,
Oh my God.
it cost a lot back in the days, man. But
Wow.
the space was like so many people were flying right all around.
Yeah.
That's why you had the bull run. That's why Ethereum went so high, right? And and now we need something else because the match is great, but it's not going to raise that high just from the sentiment standalone, right?
Yeah.
Something else needs to happen. There must be a Amazon bringing the 250 million people on the Ethereum
Let's
blockchain,
go.
right?
Come on,
Let's
Amazon.
go,
Come
let's do
on,
it.
Amazon.
Yeah, to the moon. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I started to do those like the monkeys, right? The 3D board apes, and like literally like if you might imagine like it was easy, it wasn't. It was like being a very first rapper back in the 70s, trying to play your record somewhere, and
Mm,
some people they loved it straight away, right? And they were very grateful, some people were saying, no, I'm not going to give you my precious ape because if any other collectioners sometime in the future is going to see it, right?
yeah.
They might not like it, I like the other part of the story. I like the ones who actually got it for me completely free, and then pre-mint when the floor on that was really high. I mean, like you might imagine or not, right? At some point the floor was set fucking 88 Ethereum. I remember that was more than the board apes, and one of those holders, the Genesis ones, right, send me a message, right, basically saying like, dude, I've got an offer for like $35,000, right? I was thinking I was trying to have this surgery for the past 12 years, but I could never fucking afford it, man. Like he, like, dude, this guy, rather than flipping it straight away, he came to me and asked if that's all right for me with me to sell it. I said like, fuck yeah, dude, just go for it, right? Change your life, man. And the premium, like, we had so many of those, like the life changing, like, the situations, right? I don't hear it in the space that much, right? In these days, right? Obviously, like space is also different. The audience, like the quick bucks, paper hands, many of
Mm.
them, they're just gone. They realize there's no Lambo in today's, right? So they gone. But let me come back to the story. Sorry, because I'm just keep jumping. So this yeah, I was helping others, and that's where the whole of an idea of the HAPE beast, came to action, right? It was straight away like, oh yeah, you've got your clothing, your own trades, but how about me giving you my trades, right? My all
Mm,
cool like hoodie, my hat, and that's what I was posting on a Twitter back in the days. It didn't get that much of attention because I had absolutely no following, right? But that was the same situation, right? Just take your character and stick a different something, like something that you don't have in a 3D, and keep constantly supplying, you keep dropping the stuff, right? The digital fashion brand, for PFPs. And like I've managed to build the audience, right? Through the House of Kiba, and then later on, like my own friends, mainly based around like the board apes, and the people who actually, like, are from the same community. Um, and yeah, when the project started to crystallize, because it was so spontaneous, it was just like stupid handshake, somewhere like while having a lunch. It wasn't planned, it was just like
wow.
it came out from one word to another, very natural. It's like, fuck it, let's do it. Yeah, like Web3, hey, all come
Fuck
together.
it.
Like, yeah, let's build. um,
Wow.
yeah, and like I wasn't expecting that to happen, right? Obviously there was a different quality, and that was completely different approach because, like I, yeah, I raised the bar, in the space, like, those two hands, man. I spent 4 weeks working on this teaser stand alone, and the funny thing is, like, until you start working on it, you don't even realize, like, where you are. Um, so I truly believe, like, I've got so many traits, so much stuff to build on a collection, right? I started to work on the teaser, and I realized like you've got nothing. So like literally like all of the clothing, yeah, like on the teaser, right? They were like most of them, they were actually created for a teaser because I was, I for this scene I need this and that would be nice to have, right? So that was the whole of the vision, like to spread it around, like yay. The video went up, and I swear to God, like not even video. I put this picture up, like with. I didn't realize at this time how clever, that basically the post was. Like my profile picture is my business card. Like
Mm,
fuck, such a statement,
yeah.
right? That went viral, but it would never go viral without the people, without the community, without the people behind me, the ones that I helped. Those were the ones who were retweeting, liking, commenting, spreading the word, and then it went into someone else's attention, and then boom, happened, right? If I had the collection, right, if I could do the Steve Jobs, right, this is a teaser and you can buy it tomorrow, it would be sold out straight away, like just like that, right? Without any whitelist, you guys go gas wars, just go and like kill yourself, right? Start
Yeah.
paying like $3,000 for a gas and then come back with complaints, man. Because that would mainly happen, right? You remember the gas wars back in the days, the bot sniping and everything, like yeah, this the whole of those situations, right? We're trying to avoid them because I was looking at the project, as a founder from the community point of view, what I wouldn't like to happen, right? But I didn't foresee many other aspects because I've never been such a typical, like, the collectioner, right? I've got my whole dog pound, cat pound, like whatever, right? When you go to my OpenSea, but I never spent that much time on a Discord, right? And being that proactive because as an artist, you always work, right? And
Yeah.
the stuff that we're doing just takes time. But yeah, man.
Yeah. Dude, I love hearing about that, especially the origin story, how you got in, and some of the things like you wouldn't know unless you came out and said it. Like certain things about you being kind of like deep as fuck in the community and you were just like so immersed in it. And people forget that founders are also like that a lot of times. Like that's what gets them to make that leap into the space as a founder. Um damn dude, that's a crazy fucking story. I'm really glad you shared that. Also, I was going to say there's actually two or three great questions in here. And right before we get to that, guys, we're going to pick the winners here in about 45 seconds. This is your last chance. Put out the tweets, the retweets. Make sure you've retweeted the space. Make sure you're following us. If you're not following us and you win, you ain't winning. I'm literally going to pick somebody else. So this is your last chance. If you guys want to do retweets, you want to post it. I'm going to start scrolling around. I'm going to see where I land. And someone is going to win a HAPE piece or a HAPE social NFT. Someone else is also going to win a HAPE social NFT. And then finally, we're going to have, I think I'm going to give away the Izu last because I feel like
And
if
then
I
I'm gonna
first.
do very very quickly about capsule releasing because I see
Ooh,
some demands in the chat. So yeah,
okay,
let me just spill some of the info on that
do
because
it.
the info is there. Yeah.
Do it, do it.
Oh yeah, 45 seconds, man. It's counting, man. You're on it.
I need like music. I need like the, hold on. God damn it. Not, wrong one. Hold on. No, no. Ah, Jesus Christ. Come on. Okay, this is the last one. If it's not this one, I don't have it. Okay, goddamn. I really thought I had changed the buttons, but I guess I didn't. So that's an L in the chat. Can I get some L's in the chat, guys? Just real quick, L's in the chats. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. I'm gonna choose the winners. I'm scrolling. I'm going up. I'm going down. I'm going all the way up the timeline. I'm moving shit around. I'm in my notifications. Man, dude, there is fucking so many entries. This is
So
crazy.
many, so many people try to slip into your DMs, right?
Holy smokes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, agree, Fig.
All right, I'm gonna pick two hate beast winners, and then I'm gonna do the easy winner. All right. So when the hate beast winners are chosen, you don't have to get that sad because there's still a smaller giveaway right after. So it's almost like stockings. After you open your presents at Christmas, you still have your stocking stuffers. You know what I mean? That's kind of like how I look at it. Just because. Anyways, all right. Not to like spread fun. First winner of a HAPE social NFT. Mr. Evergreen Jones. Goddamn. Wouldn't you fucking know it? The universe has spoken. Evergreen Jones, I'm going to DM you. You're the first winner of the Hate Beast. Let me get some fucking.
Congrats.
Let's go. All right. Evergreen Jones, you were the first winner of the Hate. Wow. Holy shit. That's crazy. Okay. Now I'm going to roll again. Here's for the second one. And Glitch Master 65, you have won the HAPE. I'm gonna DM you right now. I'm also gonna DM you Evergreen just so I don't forget. And honestly, dude, every time I do a giveaway, someone makes a fake one, and like just like super fast, they'll make a fake account and they'll DM me. And one time I like lost, I didn't realize, and I sent them an NFT, and I was just like, damn, I literally just got scammed. So Evergreen, I just DM'd you, and who was the other winner? It was Glitch Master. I just DM'd you as well. Now we have the final giveaway, the Izu NFT. You guys have literally 2 seconds. If you guys are throwing entries in, this is it. I'm choosing. This is for the Izu NFT. And oh, that's not even there's no entries on there. Here we go. And there's still how am I did I scroll way too down? Oh, I scrolled way too far. Okay, here we go. All right, going again. Bam, 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 bam. Hey, Alexander Web3 Camp, you have won the Izu NFT. So I'm gonna specify that so you don't think you won the HAPE. So winner of the Izu. Let's fucking go, dude. Oh my god, that's W's right there. Let's go. Congratulations to all the winners. We also have winners in the Bet Fury chat because y'all are in there in Twitch and y'all are earning points, racking up points, and exchanging them for cash prizes. So everyone's winning today. Everybody's winning today, man. This is a W day. I would say this is a good Thursday, fam. So congratulations to all the winners. Also to you, dude. Thank you for providing the HAPEs. That's fucking awesome. I'm really excited. Hopefully they were maybe, or not even hopefully, but like
I'm looking forward to yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to meet new people in the community, right? So guys, as soon as we've got the wallet, send them over. Come and say hi.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yes. All right, guys. I will get that to you after the stream because I just can't focus on like that many things at once. So congratulations to the winners. Holy smokes, that was crazy. That was a little bit of pressure. I'm not going to lie. My heart was beating a little fast there, but we got a couple of great questions here. And I see one of them from Nori. He's had a bunch of great questions today. He says, we have a huge collab collection with Diesel. Do you know why Diesel picked HAPE as partners? I mean, what is the factor specifically that makes them the #1 on the list to build this collab?
Well, we provided the quality from the very beginning, and they've picked us, based on the work that we presented to them, being as honest as that, right? When you collect all of those decks and you talk to the communities, right? They didn't talk only to our community, but what we put in front of them, it was that winning factor, right? It's the quality of work, and what the team actually delivers. Obviously, it was a very long journey and a very long conversation, right? But yeah, in the first place, obviously, besides of all of the hype situation, right? And where we were positioned, back in the days, like along like those top projects, that also helps, right? You cannot deny it, right? But the quality, right? We brought to the space. It's something that brought not even them, but many others, to be honest.
Yeah, strong answer right there. And there was another follow-up question, not to do with Diesel, but something to do with merch. I see potentially.
Yeah, no, dude, I wanted to actually. I saw it in the chat. I wanted in the chat, and I wanted to address this. I'm not calling it a merch. I'm calling it a capsule, right? Because the merch is like very much. You go to the gig, right? And get your T-shirt from the concert. It's not that. So I don't know if you remember the very first time, like when I put myself on the camera when we spoke. I had this rack of the clothing just right behind me. So I cannot give you an exact date because obviously, like I don't even know it, right? I don't know exact date, but what I can tell you, the rack of clothing is being photographed right now, for a product shots. What's gonna come after that, or not come after that, what's gonna come with it is the lookbook, that's going to provide for the ERL shots, and then we start the claiming process through the website. If you have a tokens, obviously you've got all of those discounts, right? The website is being done. We're only just waiting for the manufacturers, really, right? Quality we've got is worth to wait, those few extra days. Obviously, like I don't like it myself because the manufacturing in the clothing industry is a bitch on its own. Like this is like one of the reasons why I was not continuing with my own streetwear brands like few years ago, because of the manufacturing fuck ups. But in this case, like after touching it, like I swear to God, we were in Paris. and our hoodies were compared to like one of the very well known like the luxury brands, and people say the quality is nothing compared. So it's so good, literally. I guarantee it. I guarantee the quality on it a lot. It's nice. It's what we said. We don't want it to be merch, just a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
It's like what I'm wearing right now is just a t-shirt from it's t-shirt from New York. This is a merch, right? This is literally a merch. The other ones is our capsule, and we want to maintain on this.
Dude, I'm pumped. Dewey says he's got 4 tees and 2 pants to redeem. That's fucking lit. I saw Modo just won $500. Oh my
and
god.
and I fucking like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Those pants, they just like the same quality as my favorite designer. People know who's my favorite designer in the space. The same quality. They could lie in those yeah, the luxury shops. I just don't want to throw the names around, right? And just basically spit, like the brands out of my mouth, but fucking I guarantee the quality of it, guys.
Damn, that's really exciting. There's another question here too that I saw. I don't know if it's God, there's so many messages. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's in the chat because I love that there's a ton of messages in here. Like that's the coolest thing ever, honestly. I'm super grateful that you guys are all in here with us, watching on video stream. I don't know what
They need to let us go at some point, right?
Wait, what was that?
They have to let us go at some point, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we only have a few minutes left. We got a couple of like rapid fire Q&As. I thought I saw a rapid fire Q&A style question in there, and I was gonna ask it, but I can't find it. And one of the questions was gonna be like, what can people be excited for in the future? But then you just dropped it, so like we don't even need to go over that. So that's a W right there. So we do have a couple of rapid fire questions to wrap it up, guys. If you want to request and ask him a question or ask us a question like live here on Spaces, hit that request button. Please be a real question. Please don't be a fucking scammer and just like make a bunch of noises or something. Like, please have a real question. If you're in like Twitch or YouTube or something, just drop it in the chat. Just like a rapid fire Q&A. Like, don't drop a fucking life bomb on us and make us go into a 2-hour discussion. Just a quick rapid fire Q&A, whatever stuff. Here we go. There's one right now. Mason, I'm gonna bring you up.
Here you go.
Here we go. All right, Mason, you're muted right now. Go ahead and ask your question, fam. You're muted.
How did it feel when you created something so beautiful?
Hey.
Thank you. Well, first of all, as an artist, I never say this about my work. I'm never happy with it, and I never considered that to be, a beautiful and then be a breakthrough, that came out from someone else's mouth. It feels amazing when you get so much positive feedback, brilliant when everyone loves you. It feels just hilarious, right? When the community is involved and everyone was like, when people do everything, to to grind for a whitelist, right? This is a beautiful time. Like, amount of memes, the artworks, and that comes from the fan base and everything. It's just incredible. Yeah. For me as an artist, right, it's not even about this work, it's about every single work. It actually starts to feel good, really good, where you see appreciation. Like, it's not about like you do it just for that, but as an artist, you don't want to put your work somewhere in a drawer. You want it to be out and want people like, to have a happy clouds and happy eyes when they look at it, right?
Hey, Mason, we appreciate your question. Jack, I see you up here as well. Jack, go ahead and ask your question. Those are gonna be our 2 questions from the audience. We appreciate y'all. This is something I want to start incorporating in my spaces, because like, what other way could you get an opportunity to just pop on in the middle of a conversation and speak to the founder of HAPE Social? So Jack, you're muted right now.
Be a holder, come to our party, right?
Hey,
it's as easy as that, right?
That's true.
It's as easy as that.
Facts. All right, Jack, let's see what you got. You're muted right now. Go ahead.
Hey, Diggy. Thank you first and foremost, Cade. Thanks for hosting the space and giving Diggy the platform. Wag Me is not dead, Diggy. It's alive and well. Hareem is a lifestyle, and it's still here, my friend. Thank you for this journey. My question for you is, what has been the most rewarding part of the HAPE Social journey?
Dude, this guy gives me a goosebumps, man, literally, because I said yes, the wag me is not there when you realize as a founder, right? Where people only measure like whoever you are, with the length of the floor price, right? Not just this is just an exchange for a luxury car, right? In the other words. But yeah, I truly believe WACME is something that we have to bring together, and especially like us, being in the digital fashion community, it's completely different, right? Imagine like like just currently like around NFT parties, right? The situation where you could sit around the one table, between like so many founders, talk about the stuff, share technologies, and share the views. There's so much love. It just has to come back. Like we have to spread much more of the love. It's gonna be back, right? People need to realize it's the space for co-creation and collaboration, right? If we hate each other, how are we going to create the space? Literally. What was the other part of that question? Because I keep losing the thoughts. There was something else that you want to know.
Yeah, no, it's all good. What has been the most rewarding part of HAPE Social for you?
So yeah, I mean, like for many people, right? For many people, like NFT, and the Web3, could be a life changing. And for me, it was also a life changing moment, right? I'm not talking about the life changing in terms of the wealth. It's about the life that changed, right? For me, it went to the situation where I'm actually being able to be an artist because that's what I wanted to get from the space, right? To be able to be artist on a daily basis without being worried about going to, like your 9 to 5, right? Obviously it's a different day around because this is so much hard work, but at least you do it for yourself, right? You've got opportunities, that I've never had before, right? I started to traveling all around the world, well, maybe for the work, maybe for those conferences, but every single time when you have to go on a holiday or something, you just look for excuses not to go because you have to work and shit, right? People I've met in the space, right? All of those connections. I'm truly proud, right, to be a creator in Web3, and yes, I believe the WACME is between us. It's not the mainstream top. It's not the mainstream topic anymore. The way, but it's just the way, like some people, they measure they dicks literally, with the floor prices, and the WACME is dead in this case. But yeah,
Oh yeah, man.
Web3 might be life changing, for many different reasons, right? You might be just like the guy living in your mom's bedroom and then suddenly flipping something for $1.5 million,
Yeah,
right?
possible.
Or you just might build your new career, right? Your new life, and I think this is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I love it too. Jack, appreciate your question, bro. Appreciate you coming up. And yeah, the way I look at it is, for me, it's always been a career. I'm content creator first, second, and third. I am a content creator. There's nothing else that I do. This is the first thing I do when I go to sleep, or when I wake up. First thing I do when I go to sleep is what I fucking love. Here, all right. Here's my we have a 3-question rapid fire Q&A. This is gonna wrap up the podcast, guys. If you made it to the end, I see a ton of you guys who've been here since the very beginning. Shout out to everyone here: Spaces, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, everywhere. Shout out Bet Fury fam. Shout out Evergreen. Shout out to Glitch Master. Shout out to fucking who was the other person who won? Alexander, who won the NFTs today. Shout out to everyone at Bet Fury who won some money today in the stream. Y'all watching streams and making money. What kind of reality is this? I mean, you can't tell me anything's impossible now. Here's my final 3 questions. What's your favorite food/food chain? What do people need to be getting, bro? What's the alpha?
Oh man, that's a terrible question. My girlfriend tries to turn me into a vegan now, so I don't like. I'm not allowed to eat whatever I want, man.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, she
All right,
really
what
tries
was
to
it
tell me.
before?
No, but yeah. Speaking of the chain, it's not a chain situation, right? I'm not like being a big McDonald's, KFC, whatever fan, right? It's a little bit different here in London, right? Obviously you've got all of that, but this is like clearly a junk food, right? I I don't have a really like the favorite chain. You know, like we went to Paris, you know, for NFT, and there was an amazing food over there. I don't think there was any chain involved, but no, man. When it comes such a bad questions, when it comes to eating, you asked the completely wrong question, man. I can have a breakfast at fucking like 5 p.m., man.
Yeah. So what
Just
would you
because
rather have? You come home from a long day of work. What do
I
you
drink,
hope?
I drink a lot. I drink a lot of the tea, you know, and the fizzies, right? You know, the
Okay.
sugar keeps me going, basically, right? You know, but this is a kind of like, yeah, I'm not very good with eating, right? I just, you know, I do power on, and then I start working, and I forget about eating, you know, and then suddenly you've got your black hole sucking you from inside. I was like, maybe it's too late, but that's the moment, right? That's the moment, right? You know, I just, and I don't really have those kind of like, you eat the breakfast in the morning, lunch, and the dinner, whatever. You just eat whatever you feel hungry,
Yeah.
right?
Guys, listen. We drop life alpha here. Sugar and no food. That's the move right now.
Sugar is bad, but it's so good, man.
I love it. Okay. Final two questions. You have a biggest fear / irrational fear that's just random? Do you have anything like that comes to mind? Like, I can't stand cockroaches, dude. Cockroaches will be the death.
I don't like heights, man. I'm okay with flying, but I don't like heights. Like,
Okay,
you know,
interesting.
I can't do Eiffel Tower, man. Like, you know, I mean, like I can do, but it gives me the impression that everything is shaking. It's just like bouncing on the side, man. It's like, no, I don't like heights. I mean, like, you know, unsecured heights, right? You know, yeah.
You're not trying to jump out of a plane.
Fuck that shit, man. You know, like I love snowboarding, right? You know, I don't mind mountains and shit, but I'm not going to do skydiving and stuff, man.
Well, I'm right there with you with snowboard. I'm not there with you with the skydiving. I'm a big fan of skydiving.
I mean, like, you know, do you know how it is? It's just like, you know, yeah, you say like, I'm not gonna do it, but when you jump off the plane, you enjoy it a lot, right?
Yeah, it's
you
fine.
know?
Yeah,
and then you wanna do it again. It's like, you know, going to water park, right? You know, on the biggest slides. Oh, this is a kamikaze, right? You know, so you go up, right? You know, you climb there, and you know, obviously you were wet, you know, and it's windy and it's cold, and you know, again, everything is shaking, and you've got the whole of the queue, and yeah, that's really fucking fast, and people are screaming. But once when you do it once, you just go like, yeah, again. I mean, maybe it's just a matter of a few pints, right? You know, before making a decision.
All right, damn. This is it. This is the final question of the Joyage Kingdom Bet Fury sponsor or brought to you guys by Bet Fury Gaming Podcast. This is it. Do you? Man, I hope you have an answer, man, because you didn't have an answer for the food one. Now I'm doubting myself. You got me doubting myself now. Do you have a favorite TV show? Tell me you got a favorite TV show, or are you watching a show right now?
Dude. Man, the TV show. Everyone knows I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. Like, you know, from back in the days when I saw, you know, the New Hope, I'm like, I've got this dark side on my knuckles, right? You know, and the whole sleeve dedicated just for Star Wars, right? You know, characters, you know, because I also like, you know, within building this journey, I love fucking tattoos, man. You know, with this journey, right? I approach a tattoo artist which are passionate about the Star Wars like myself, and I give them a free hand. It's just basically, which is your favorite character? Go and do it, right? So I've got those, like, you know, the Stormtrooper Slack, you know, being done by Davy Blows, you know, which is like, you know, cool persona. He is one of the like the Wu-Tang tattooists, man. You know, the Lego characters, Lego emperors and stuff. I mean, like, it's fun, man. You know, but this is how it is. The tattoo is not just like getting a stamp, right? You know, to look good, you know, on the beach, right? It's not about the little dolphins and your tribals, right? You know, on the spine. It's about being an artist, or at least like holding a piece of art of someone else, right? Rather than get it displayed, you know, on the wall in the gallery, you're wielding that, you know, on your body till the end of your life. And it doesn't matter if you want it or not, you know, at some point you also guys have a special bond and attachment, right? Because you sacrifice parts of the body, you know, for his artwork, and there is some blood being spilled, you know, while he's doing that. I take it quite seriously. For me, artists, they tattoos as an art, right? They need to tell a story, you know, and obviously, like, they come from a different angles, being personal, like, you know, emotional, whatever. But I just hate the fucking stupid summertime stamps, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with the tattoos, especially. I've got Joyage tattooed on my knuckle or my fingers, actually.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is bold move. I mean, it's also is very painful, right? You know,
Oh my God.
knuckles are crazy, man. Knuckles are crazy. But yeah, maybe one day. I mean, I would like decrypt and everything. Like, you know, I would be like to be like a metaverse, right? Just go ping, right? You've got this tattoo, and then next time you go ping, you know, you've still got something else, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen maybe one day. But neck is waiting also.
Dude, I'm
So
getting the
not
neck done.
yet.
I'm getting, or not the whole neck. I'm getting a small Joyage Kingdom logo or signature sign here in my neck under my ear because I have long hair. So if I need to cover it up, I guess I can. But I'm excited for that one. It's not a big one, but
Good, bro. Good. Go for it.
let's fucking go, guys. We've just made it to the very end of this podcast. This has been a fucking delightful conversation. We got some people who are either gonna make some money or they're gonna join a sick community. We got people who made money in the Bet Fury Twitch stream. I mean, people were taking W's all over, left, right, center.
We just spent like over 1.5 hours together, right? You know, constantly talking. I had a good time. Thanks very much for having me. I hope that whoever tuned in also enjoyed the conversation, and yeah, we'll be seeing you guys around, right? You know, definitely looking forward to meet the new HAPEs, right? When we got them in.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. Also, stay on it because I'm gonna hit the end stream, but you just have to stay on for a second until it's over. That way, it doesn't like test your quality. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. Some of y'all have been here since the very beginning. We love you. We appreciate you. Likes and retweets if you enjoyed the conversation. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow Twitch, like do all the things, fam. We love you. Until next time, continue on your Joyage. Continue to learn and be grateful you're alive watching this video or Twitter space. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Stay HAPE, guys.